Hey yo, thanks for tuning in to The Source, your source for celebrity news. Check this out. Diddy turned YouTuber Natania Reuben, the woman who allegedly got pow-powed in the face by Diddy in Club New York back in 1999, is now alleging that YouTuber Lionel B took a payout from Diddy's investigators and conspired with P. Diddy to lure her to his studios so that he could have her murked. Source, can you please play the clip?
We're back! So he said, my idea is to have you as my first exclusive in-person guest on my podcast. Typically my shows are on a Zoom-style interview. However, I've upgraded my studio this year and I'm moving forward to doing everything in person. Also, those videos tend to do much better on YouTube, but people can connect organically. I don't pay for interviews, however, I can cover your travel and hotel stay. Now, why would I, a woman who is a survivor of pow-pow in the face, that still has an active bounty on my head, let a stranger, aka content creator, know my personal information for him to buy me a ticket and hotel and all of that? What's so important about him that I need to go to wherever he is to do an in-studio guest? That's number one. Number two, since March 4th, well, has anybody seen an in-studio guest on his channel? Have you seen one? What's so special about me? Why do you need me to be your in-studio guest? Since March, we're in December 2nd. Anybody seen an in-studio guest on his channel? Or they all been on Zoom? Answer me that, somebody. No, you haven't seen any in-studio guests, right? So what is so particularly special about me? Let me ponder for a second. It's probably on a copyright strike, so I'm going to break it in between. I'm going to add a boot back. Now why a woman who is far older than him, sharp as a whip, even with a 9mm bullet in my head, do I look like Willie Lump Lump? I'm going to give a stranger my name, address, date of birth, and everything so that he can fly me to where he is. Why do I need a vacation or to go to where he is that bad? It was a setup, attempted murder. Sound like a RICO to me. It sounded like you were conspiring to drag me out of the safety and the confines of my home and my Second Amendment right to get me to another location so that I can be... I wonder what you would drag me out of town for. Give me a blueberry muffin? No. To give me an orchid? No. To give me pancakes? No. What do you guys think he wanted to drag me away from the safety and confines of my home for? Why? Why? Oh, I'm speaking about Lionel B. Lionel B, the character assassinator. Been trying to drag me out of since March 2024. Cassie only filed her lawsuit in November. Why have you been trying to get me since March? You want to kill me in March? What were you dragging me out for? It was a setup. Attempted murder.
Okay, so according to Natania, Lionel B reached out to her several times in March, asking her to come to his newly renovated studio to do an in-person live interview, which she thought was strange because Lionel B isn't known for doing in-person interviews or live videos. Now, Natania claims that in order to sweeten the pot and coax her into coming to his studio, Lionel B offered to pay all of her expenses, including plane tickets for her and her daughter, hotel rooms, and also all of her meals and other travel expenses. However, in order to make the arrangements, he would need some of her personal information. According to Natania, Lionel B was pretty pressed, and his request was a little bit sus, so she turned him down and cut off all communications with him. But during a later date, when she was doing an interview with another YouTuber, the YouTuber told her that they had a quote-unquote superfan that wanted to come on and meet her, and before she knew it, Lionel B had inserted himself into the interview that she was doing. Now, during that podcast, Lionel B attempted to befriend Natania once again, and after the interview was over, they agreed to do interviews on each other's channels, but this time via Zoom. However, Natania found it strange that when she was doing her interview with Lionel B, he introduced his wife to her as a quote-unquote superfan, which led her to believe that Lionel B had purposely contacted the YouTuber who she was doing the initial interview with and asked them to make the connection so that he could try to ingratiate himself to her once again so that she would ultimately offer him, as Biggie would say, one more chance to get in her inner circle. Alright, so why is this important? It's important because Natania is now insinuating and alleging that the reason why Lionel B was posing as a quote-unquote superfan and trying to get close to her is because he was contacted and corrupted by Diddy's investigators, and they paid him off to lure her to his location where Diddy could finally have one of his goons take her out. Okay, so if you don't know what investigators Natania is talking about, here's a reminder.
Allegedly, Diddy has private investigators tracking down influencers. In California, influencers who post unflattering things about Puff. Apparently asking those influencers face-to-face whether someone's paying them.
So you guys are private investigators who have come to my private home asking about influencers? This is very uncomfortable, you guys.
I don't know why. I'll explain.
No, you're at my home.
You say you had all these same kinds of questions. What did they want, and what ultimately did you talk to them about?
We ended up being on the phone over speaker talking to one another, and I had the very same reaction that Sam had. I thought something is not right here. They were being very vague in what they were asking me. They were sprinkling in mentions of P. Diddy throughout their questioning. The conversation continued, and eventually they let out that they are private investigators trying to figure out if I'm being paid to talk about Diddy and his connection to other celebrities. They gave the same offer that they gave Sam and said, had you been paid, we'd love to pay you more to disclose exactly who that was. And they even went on to say that they would pay more than whatever it was I was being paid from the initial entity to share the opposite story. Now, I don't know if they were talking about this in reference to P. Diddy or if another celebrity, maybe in his network, hired them. It was very, very strange.
Okay, so basically, Natania believes that Diddy's private investigators approached Lionel B, and they were like, listen, all you gotta do is use your YouTube channel to lure out Natania Reuben, and we'll give you this money. And guess what?
All you gotta do is say yes.
And then, after the investigators said that to him, Lionel B was like,
Hi.
listen, let me tell you something. This right here is the perfect example of how a fake Diddy story gets made. Because as far as I can remember, everything between Lionel B and Natania Reuben was all good just a week ago. What was it, Jay-Z?
It was all good just a week ago.
So let's take a look at how this whole thing went from 0 to 60 with the quickness, and how now, Natania Reuben, who was mad cool with Lionel B just a week ago, is all of a sudden now saying that Lionel B was hired by Diddy's investigators to lure her to his studio so that he could murk her. Source, can you please rewind the tape so that we can see what happened between these two weeks ago? And check it, I'm gonna be running through this video non-stop today, so be sure to like and subscribe to the channel.
But I want to present to you now our brother Lionel B in his house. Let's give him a round of applause. Throw some applause in the chat. Give my brother some applause.
Yo, yo, yo.
Greetings, 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 my brother. How are you?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I am phenomenal. First and foremost, welcome to the Nerd Herd family now. You in the Nerd Herd family.
All right now. What's up, Nerd Herd?
Hey, give our brother some love in that chat, y'all. Thank you so much for being here. We thoroughly appreciate you being here. And like I said, we talked the other day, and what an amazing conversation. So, brother, welcome to our channel. Please, by all means, introduce yourself to the Nerd Herd family.
What's up, everybody? This is your boy Lionel B from the Lionel B Show. I'm a YouTuber. I guess you can call me celebrity news. I do celebrity news and things like that, man. Some of you guys may have got a chance to catch some of my crazy videos I'll be doing.
Not crazy videos, but right? Especially your. Please tell the people about your incomparable viral video that made your channel ascend to the heights that it is and got you to this place.
Oh man, okay, so the viral video, I actually did a video with Jay-Z and Offset. It looks like they were having kind of like a altercation. Never expected that video to do the numbers that it did. It just, I think within a few hours it went up to over 1 million views. Currently right now that video is at about 9.2 million, so that's like insane for a celebrity blogger to get those type of numbers. So I was really blessed and fortunate to be able to have that opportunity to meet a lot of success in YouTube. And actually, guys, I did that video when I was actually homeless. I threw a shot in the dark, didn't know what was gonna happen. I think the first video I put out, it got like 500 views a day. And I'm like, whoa, like I'm thinking like that's like numbers. I'm like, oh my God, whoa, and I think I made like a couple dollars on it, kept going. I did another video, that one did really well. I made like $15. So me and my son were in the car in the middle in Florida in the hot sun. Can't turn on the car because we're gonna waste gas and don't have no money to get gas in there. So one day I'm just sitting there in the car, windows down, and I'm like looking at my AdSense account. Yo, we made another $15. So my son like look at me like, really? Like $15? Like what are we gonna do? But I kept grinding, kept doing it. Before you know it, that 15 was like 100 and something. So I'm like, damn, okay, we made enough to be able to get gas. But God was like, oh no, I'm not done yet.
Let me tell you something. I love the fact, and first and foremost, thank you for feeling comfortable enough and trusting me enough with that part of the story that you've never shared before. You know what I heard when you said that?
What's that?
Asking for change. God was saying, and I say this to people all the time, if I can trust you with little, I can trust you with the much. God was letting you know, I see you, brother. Let me see what you're willing to do for your son and yourself, so I can give you the rewards that I have in store for you. And your willingness to put your pride aside or whatever to say, hey, can you help me out? I have a child. I need to. The willingness to stand firm and do that because you know you had a child. God said, oh, there you go. You just bust right through that lining of protection, and God said, I got you. And I'm so proud of you. I know you guys all know Lionel. Please follow Lionel right now. Go leave a comment on this video, and let's we're gonna do this thing. We're gonna connect and make sure we all get this. Amen. I am honored. I am honored to be in your presence, to be your star pupil. Now I'm a nerd, so you know I'm the star pupil. You heard me say I'm bringing an apple and learning. If learning was crack, I'd be pookie, strung out because I love learning, love information.
Me too.
Thank you so much, Lionel. You are welcome here anytime. You're an official nerd. You're a part of the Nerd Herd. And anytime you want to come. Nerd gang. And I am absolutely, if you want me to come on your channel, I'll be there with the quickness.
Okay.
And I look forward to it. And all the things that we're going to do together, we'll talk offline, but I appreciate it.
Okay, so as you can see, Natania Reuben wasn't thinking about Lionel B trying to murk her like 2 weeks ago. And as a matter of fact, she was over there telling him how blessed and highly favored by God he was. So, the question is, how in the world did Lionel B go from being a viral YouTuber to all of a sudden now being a Diddy assassin? I mean, what changed between then and now? I'll tell you what changed. What changed is this. Lionel B decided that he was going to be greedy and become the first contestant on a new game show called
When YouTube Pimping Goes Wrong.
Alright, so this is what I mean. Lionel B made his first viral video when he was homeless in the streets living in his car with his son. So, to Lionel B, YouTube equals money and money equals him never having to be homeless again. So, one of Lionel B's priorities is trying to figure out how to make more viral videos so that he can make more money because money equals security, and that makes sure that him, his new wife, and his son will never have to be homeless again. So, when Lionel B saw that Natania Reuben was making the rounds on YouTube, doing interviews on Tisa Tells and also Make It Make Sense, Lionel B started seeing visions of money dancing around like sugar plums in his head. But in order to make his video go viral, seeing that Natania had been on a couple of other channels, he's got to do something different. So he's like, Natania, I want you to come into my studio. But she's like, no go. So he's like, alright, let's do it on Zoom. And she's like, alright, but my fee is $5,000. Now, Lionel B doesn't want to come off the 5K. Hence, no video of him interviewing Natania.
First of all, Natania, she did ask for that $5,000, but he didn't show the whole conversation because Natania showed me the whole conversation on WhatsApp. She showed it to me. So Natania, because she's not friend with Diddy, which means she wouldn't go to a Diddy party, okay? She's not friend with Diddy. She's scared of who could be under Diddy's spell. So she does little tests. So Lionel B wanted to see her so much. I would show you the screenshot. I will put it on my community tab or something. So yeah, he wanted to, Lionel B, he decided that he wanted to make Natania come to him so much, and he wanted to interview Natania so much, not do it by live, he wanted her to come to the studio, which he never asked of anyone. All the interviews that Lionel B does are always by Zoom or something, because why would he someone pay for the plane of someone? That's ridiculous. So he was saying to Natania, this is going to be my first ever interview. Yeah, it was really, really, really wrong. You're right, little Miss Madhead. Yeah, so he said that he was going to pay for the hotel for Natania. He said that he was going to pay for her plane. She just needed to tell him where she was, because Natania doesn't want people to know where she is, because Diddy has been messing with her since she refused to not say the truth. Since she refused to say that it's Shine that did this to her, that, she never changed her story. So she's extremely careful, especially with Diddy, maybe getting bail, maybe getting this, maybe getting that. So, Natania always does some tests. And Lionel B was ready to pay for the plane, for the hotel, for the this, for the that. He was ready to pay for all of this. And then he even asked her, and how much would you want me to pay you? And she said, you know what, give me $5,000, we're going to do it live. Because you don't need to pay for the plane. You don't need to pay for an hotel. You don't need to pay for all of this. And then suddenly now, what happened? Oh, she's the problem. She's asking for $5,000. She's so thirsty. She's so this, she's so that, she's so this.
Now, Natania Reuben also confirmed that she did in fact tell Lionel B that her going rate to do an interview on YouTube is $5,000. But it's not because that's some secret test that she uses to see if she can trust people on YouTube. It's simply her going rate to do an interview.
So you keep pressing me, and you keep pressing me, and you keep pressing me, and then you're like, well, how much for a Zoom interview? And I said $5,000. Why you mad? Because I know my worth? I'll have you know, I've already received that 3 times. 3 times. So you think you know stuff, but you don't know.
Okay, so now, Lionel B can't get Natania to come on his show, so he pivots because he still has to find a way to make a viral video. And boy, does he get lucky, because here comes Adria English on YouTube sharing her Diddy stories. But this is where Lionel B makes a fatal mistake and gets caught up in the game of
when YouTube pimping goes wrong.
Okay, so this is what I believe happened. Lionel B interviewed Adria on the show, and the video got 1.1 million views. So, Adria, who's used to allegedly getting pimped out by dudes like Anthony Gallo, conspires with Lionel B to create a mini Diddy pyramid scheme. And this is how it works. Lionel B agreed to manage Adria, which is weird because who needs a YouTube manager? Anyhow, Lionel B agreed to manage Adria and use his YouTube connections and celebrity to pimp her out to different channels to do interviews, and in return, he would get 20% of the money that she made from making the rounds on different platforms. But this wasn't enough. because Adria and Lionel then realized that if we add another Diddy victim into the mix, we can double our money. So Adria English then introduces Lamesha Fuller into the mix. But for this whole pyramid scheme to work, they have to roll Lamesha outright. So Lionel B makes the video in which he claims that Lamesha Fuller is the Jane Doe who was sitting on Diddy's lap in the D&G t-shirt, and that she's also the Jane Doe who was laying on a sushi table in front of Diddy and Michael Bivins. Now, they think that this scheme is gonna work because in the lawsuit, Jane Doe's face is blacked out, and in the picture that Lionel B purposely chose to use of the girl on the sushi table, her face is blacked out too. So they're like, yeah, they all gonna believe this is Lamesha. Now, Lamesha Fuller is all for the game because Lamesha Fuller is used to walking the real streets. So walking these YouTube streets is not a problem. And the whole thing works because Adria, Lamesha, and Lionel realize that Adria and Lamesha can be used to validate one another's stories, especially since Adria English really was at some Diddy parties. Now, Lionel B, Adria, and Lamesha were also banking on the fact that most YouTubers are really scared to call out alleged Diddy victims for fear of being canceled.
I'm trying to I'm trying to be fair. You know what I mean? Like, I'm really trying to be fair because I do have some knee-jerk things I want to say, but it's like that's not fair. Like, I really want this to be just pretty much factual and then a little bit opinion. You know what I mean? So Misha, I will admit, even though I had to pause Misha's. I haven't even been able to watch part 2 yet because the first part, it took me a couple hours. I had to pause it. I had to write notes. I had to get water. Y'all know I don't even like to drink water. I needed a refreshment. It was very raw, and I was with some stuff even censored out, like some of the really words, were censored out and stuff. So it's even though I did have that reaction, and I do believe her, as in I do believe the emotions that were appearing on screen, I believe that was real. But I think there's a possibility, based on discrepancies in the public record, I think there's a possibility that some of the facts that Misha presented were perhaps not exactly what happened.
I mean, for real, some of these YouTubers were so concerned about potentially discrediting a real Diddy victim that they had to have an impromptu group meeting.
Oh, memes went away. Maybe a knee-jerk reaction to maybe me even, right? Want to make an excuse, well, maybe it's, maybe she didn't remember, or maybe she, this and that. But it's no, at some point, there's factual discrepancies. And if our loyalty has, lies with the truth, then you have to keep going to get to the truth. And when there's different facts, then you haven't gotten to the truth yet, in my opinion. And so it does feel, Mim said it, I don't know, maybe he got disconnected, maybe he'll come back, maybe he has to run, but he said it earlier, nobody wants to be discrediting a victim.
Now, although I respect all of these YouTubers for meeting up to really discuss how to approach this situation, I also respect people like A Walk with the Ancestors who are like, nah son, this ish is cap.
That is not you. You said there are 5 tables, and your big ass wasn't on not nan one of them. Not nan one of them. I don't give a fuck if you was this size or this size, Snuffy. It's not you. You sent me this one. All right. And it's still not you on this table. You a liar. You always been a liar. Then you gonna send this. You call me soulless? I fight for the side of the righteous, ma'am. You just came on here with the biggest hogwash of story, and you mad because didn't nobody fall for it. You can't be used to people believing your bullshit. I know that ain't what you saying. That you are used to people believing your bullshit.
Now, part of the issue was that originally Lionel B had dropped a controlled interview that he was able to edit, and people like Natania Reuben and Popcorn Planet really thought that Lamesha was Jane Doe.
Like I was saying, I turned my back on God, knowing that I always had the power. I always had benefits. I don't stress about money. God told me to stop living in the streets. God took that pimp mentality away from me. I used to get a rush and a thrill from talking about hustling. But now I feel dirty when I think about it.
But here's the deal.
Okay, I'm not trying to be funny, but I was in them containers that said green on it. I'm talking about I've been in the ocean. I held on to a girl, which was Allie Carter. I held on to her. We hugged each other because we were being shipped and we thinking we about to die because it's a storm and it's the middle of the ocean.
Unalive.
I mean,
I know
we thought we were gonna be unalived because we are in some crates. We can't see. We just hear it. We just feel it rocking like it's about to fall. We could have fell into the ocean and been dead. I'd be thinking. We could have been unalived. Now, please get my mind together so I can get with the program.
Somebody said, Misha, I'm here for Misha, fellow survivor of Traf. And better, you're a sister in Christ. You are so important and brave, and you're worth it. I know you're telling the truth. Everybody knows. People know.
Anybody with spiritual discernment know, but once the fans come,
and that's here's the deal.
God don't bless no mess. God don't bless no mess.
But once Lamesha and Adria started going live, it all went south. But yet and still, Lionel B, Adria, and Lamesha Fuller still thought that their mini Diddy pyramid scheme could work after a few YouTubers like me, A Walk with the Ancestors, and Tisa Tells, and others started poking holes in Lamesha's story. Because him, Lamesha, and Adria started studying people's YouTube channels and adjusting their stories based on the discrepancies that YouTubers were calling them out on. And they were also paying very close attention to what viewers like you wanted to see. For example, watch how Adria English specifically asked Natania Reuben and Jaguar Wright what part of her story really resonated with them.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Sure.
Okay, before Cassie popped out, whatever, I was always the girl in the back, my Vibe magazine. I'm sure people who had seen the magazine saw that. But when did you guys, what did I say, or when did you see me that made you want to be in this phone call with me right now? Like, what did I say, or what did you see that resonated where you didn't say, this girl lying, or she takes this clown?
I never said you were lying. Not once.
I watched. No, I'm just saying, like, see how the unity is right now? But I'm saying, what happened that you even got on that? Okay.
I watched your interview, and when you were talking about your relationship with the Steve guy.
He the one that started it all. Jake Steve, yep. He been getting paid for over 20 years.
Sweetheart.
Now, another mistake that Lionel B made is that he was so focused on his girls making that money that he went live instead of doing like a pre-recorded video, and he allowed Lamesha and Adria to start rattling off at the mouth. And Adria said a bold-faced lie that none of them could walk back. Andrea English was like, yeah, tell him, Lamesha, tell him what you told me. Tell him how Natania Reuben is over there acting funny because she used to rock with Diddy and she slept with you. Now, everybody and their mama's mama, and their mama's mama knows darn well that that's not true. But Andrea English took the fake Diddy stories one step too far because that Hennessy was over there Hennessying. Now, in order to save the bag, Lionel B quickly cut to a caller. But the caller created a further rift in the threesome because while the caller was online, the caller pointed out directly to Adria English that she could actually be arrested because while she was telling her Diddy stories online, she actually admitted to committing mad crimes, especially when she said that she knew that Lamesha was 14 years old when she was at the Diddy parties because when she was 26 years old, she says that she met up with Lamesha in the bathroom and Lamesha told her that she was 14 and she was like, you know what, just tell him you 17. Now, after the caller pointed that out, both Adria and Lionel B both got spooked, and he quickly cut her from the video. I mean, she disappeared from that video quicker than David Copperfield doing a magic trick. Anyhow, after that situation occurred with the caller, Adria and Lionel B have a conversation, cause they all talk after these videos air. Anyhow, during that conversation, Adria was like, yo, how you gonna be my manager and let me get set up like that? I don't even wanna deal with you anymore. And she drops Lionel B as her manager. Then, the very next day, she pops up on All Access Media and she tries to backpedal the whole Lamesha story. And she's like, listen, I was drugged out. How in the world am I supposed to know who I met in the bathroom and what age they said they were? How am I supposed to know that she was 14? I mean, and I certainly didn't tell her to say she's 17.
So in the bathroom, she, according to her, I don't recall, but she said that she told me that she was 14 years old, and she said that I said, well, tell him you're 17. Which doesn't even make any sense because who am I telling her to tell that to? If Diddy and everybody already knows they kidnapped her and she's there underage, who would I be telling her to tell that they're 17 to if you're already there at the party? Well, Denzel didn't give a fuck. He was there minding his own business with his wife. So when she says that I say, well, tell him you're 17, I don't understand who I'd be telling that they're 17 to if Diddy has you there at 14. You know what I mean? Obviously, Diddy and whoever else put you on a jet and had you there in years, they know you're underage. So I don't understand why is it turning into my moral responsibility on my own to have been the one to have saved her back then. I don't understand it. I needed saving my damn self, and that's why I came forward and filing my own lawsuit. And Mesha contacted me, and I decided to talk to her. I could have ignored her or act like I didn't remember her, like Jaguar Wright and Natania are acting like if she's telling the truth. Because according to Mesha, she's had past dealings with Jaguar Wright and Natania. I never have. They all know me for some reason. Everybody did their research and knew who I was. I didn't know who nobody was.
Oh my goodness, do you guys see how quickly Adria English is over there backpedaling her story like she's Michael Jackson doing a moonwalk on the stage during Motown 25? But it doesn't end there, because then Adria English continued to throw Lionel B and Lamesha under the bus.
Same thing with Lionel B. I said, wow, I watch you, Lionel B. I can't believe you want me to interview. You do? For sure. We did the one interview, the numbers went crazy. Because Lionel B gave me money up front and rev share. I'm not doing anything for free. He gave me my back end deal. And so I said, well, after the numbers went up, I'm like, shit. Then he was like, let's do part 2. That's why I was like, I'm gonna put on a white dress and let him know. Let him see she Diddy and his motherfucker. Then after that went good, I was like, you know what? We doing good together. Why don't you just manage me? All these calls I'm getting, I'm too busy. I'm driving, I'm over here taking care of a son, dogs, this and that, trying to stay cute. Why don't you manage me and all the calls that coming out direct to you? You work out a deal and then let me know. I asked him. He said, I'm with it. He gave me a contract. We was locked in. I said, make it automatically renewable every year unless either party decides to cancel. I was happy with Lionel B. We had plans for January and all that. It wasn't until he put me on the live and had his girlfriend, weird ass, ugly ass, fat or skinny bitch, either fat or she's skinny, either one, and his weird ass sister get on there and think that they're gonna drop their cash apps in the middle of a live that has something to do with me, Misha, Jaguar, and Natania. These bitches are irrelevant to the whole scenario, so I didn't understand it. And then he kept muting me. So I said, once he did that, you are not my manager. You're not working for me because you're working against me. You're working for the ops, and I really feel like he took a Diddy payout, really.
Now, another mistake that Lionel B, Andrea English, and Lamesha Fuller made is that they didn't bank on the fact that Jaguar Wright was going to be over there like, hold up, who are these two yachts trying to push in on my Diddy money? Now, Lionel B, Lamesha, and Adria all thought that they could roll Jaguar into the scheme, but they underestimated the fact that Jaguar doesn't play when it comes to her Diddy money, and she was like, you know what, I'm getting ready to expose all of y'all.
You know, my green screen here, do you see it says thanks, Zoe? That's my blink twice lighter.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really love that movie. It's so elegant, you know, it's quite the totem. You know, the yellow is for warning, and if you look through the film, on so many different occasions, yellow pops up. The weirdo guy with the glasses, the heart glasses, all set upside down, trying to alert the girl that danger was there. I mean, it was a very elegantly written piece, and I mean, I've said myself that I have no doubt in my mind that they spoke with someone who had been there. So I just,
yeah, it's true. They took it from my police statement.
Interesting. What year was that?
That was 2012.
Okay. Now, you said something very interesting the other day. And let's just be clear. Neither one of us have spoken online, offline, other than with Natania, correct?
I've seen you. What I told Adrian is that I seen you in the club, and I remember you speaking about with the Cuban good and stuff. And
you said it was a strip. You said it was a strip club in Dallas.
In North Dallas, yeah, it's called Dallas Cabaret. Dallas Cabaret North and Dallas Cabaret South.
Cabaret. And this was, you remember it specifically? It was in 2012.
Yeah, because that's when I was living in the Island Hills in Oak Cliff. That's why I'm staying in Oak Cliff.
That would be unfortunate.
You went there?
Exactly when was it that you were in the mental hospital?
That was like in 2005. I was there. 2005, 2006, something like that. That's when I got back home. That's how I got home, because they was trying to.
I need to inform you of some very real information about me, which can be easily charted on my Instagram. I've been traveling, performing, and living in many different various places all over the world. I did not decide to move to Dallas, Texas until 2016. Now, I did start working and gigging and recording in Dallas before 2016, when I first started frequenting it in 2014, after I left Philadelphia with my family. And see, I had moved me and my son to Shreveport, Louisiana. Now, in between that time, I took a contract with Dwayne Wiggins, doing film and television production and recording and sound. In 2015, my son was arrested. I came back to Philadelphia. I got my family together. We moved to Dallas in 2016, and Giovanni came to follow later that fall. Sweetheart, I was nowhere near Dallas, North Dallas, or a strip club in 2012 at all. Matter of fact, I was spending more time in Miami and Paris, nowhere near Texas.
Yeah, but you have a twin out there that talked about the same thing you talked about.
Wait a second. Wait a second. I am telling you that story that you're telling about me as fact and true, that you have repeated on several platforms now. It's not possible. It never happened.
To who? I never talked to you?
No, not in 2012, not at a strip club.
I don't know what year. 2012 is the year I think that I signed the paper.
That's what you've been saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's the year I remember them contacting me. But I was having conversations with various people in the club, because like celebrities,
Do you understand?
CBJ and everybody was like coming to that club. A lot of people came to that club.
I know who hangs out at Cabaret, and the reason why I know the girls at the strip club was because after I moved to Dallas in 2016, I was Lyft driving, and I always drove the girls home at night.
Yeah.
See, that was 2016.
So is it possible that Is it possible then that it's just a mix-up of timelines or jagged memories, overlapping from, I don't know,
No, I'm not saying flat out she never met me or spoke to me at all. I do not know her. The only time I've ever spoken to this young woman was with Natania. I had nothing but positive things to say, and I still feel the same way. I do not believe you should be doing all that you're doing. I think you need to get counseling.
Yeah, I do need counseling.
I think you need to get in serious therapy immediately. I think you're doing yourself great harm. Do you realize that the things that you're sitting here admitting on camera, online, unaliving babies and cannibalism and such?
I'm going to tell you this. I told the police. They said I was in survival mode. It's the truth. It's the truth. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie.
Police will tell you anything to get you to admit things so that they can use them against you later in prosecution. I'm asking.
Why did they prosecute me then when I was crying? I was telling them what I went through.
Sweetheart, you ain't got to put it on for me.
But they said they sent me home. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I come anyway, but they sent me home. They sent me home. I told them. Why did they go arrest him when I told him what he was doing? Why did they arrest him and when they was coming in?
All of these interviews that you're doing yourself great harm.
Yeah, probably am. But after I get my word,
the things that you're saying are gut-wrenching for people
to listen to.
Yes, they're gut-wrenching for people to listen to. So I can only imagine what it's like for you to keep swallowing and digesting this over and over again. It's literally bordering abuse.
I understand what you're saying because I go back and I read the video. I look at the videos.
I know you do, and I implore you to stop. They are not positive.
None of them, not even the one who was praying on. None of them.
People online are here to feast on your pain and use it for entertainment and clicks and views and dollars. That is not what you need. You need
help. I'm calling out for help.
You need therapy. You need help, real help, and that's what the content creators cannot give you.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, whatever lawyer you have, everything you're saying is going to make it very hard for him to defend you in the future. And guess what? This footage will be here
forever.
You're not helping yourself.
They already talked about yourself. They already know.
You're not helping yourself. And the amount of pressure that is about to lap on you. I don't think you, sweetheart, I literally came here as a gesture of love because when I see somebody going down a dangerous path when they're about, oh no, I don't think you understand, my dear.
I understand what you're saying because my mom said the same thing, but at the end of the day, it's the truth.
Sweetheart, what you're doing to yourself, it is cruel. It is cruel, okay?
Still pop backlash. Still get hot.
Do you understand what do you hear what you're listening to?
Okay. I have 3 witnesses outside of that. You're gonna be proud of me, Peggy. The most important thing for you to do. Already done. Before you said it, already been done. Okay. She gonna fail tomorrow, watch, because she's too high strung. She's probably gonna pop a couple.
She didn't want to know my story first. Miss Jaguar, I really don't care what Adrian I think. I told her, don't get on live and don't say anything. Don't say nothing. I was bad to her. She shouldn't have went live and said nothing. I went for her to help. She didn't help. She reached back out to me because she knows the truth. The truth will come out whether this, that, or in the court. But you're right. That's why I'm telling him I really don't want to do any more lives because it's not helping. I'm thinking I can release and talk about it, but it's not helping. But people in the world need to be aware of the things that's going on.
This is not healthy. This is not therapy. Prostrating everything that happened to you before a group and a pit of vultures is not helping you.
It's not, but it happened to me and I've been shut up all my life. I've been shut up all my life. They've been telling me to shut up.
The woman that brought you online is now contradicting everything you're saying.
That's her.
She fired Lionel and now you're being represented by him. There are conflicts of interest in this thing out the wazoo. Please stop this now. Adria has said things that she's witnessed about drug use regarding you. I don't know what
drug use she regards me. She saw me because I don't. What drug she saw me do? Other than me sending her Bible scripture, other than me praying with her.
All right, then tell me about Yellow Beezy's house. You being at Yellow Beezy's house.
I told her an incident where he saw when Diddy told them to kill me. That's what I said. I didn't tell her get on live and repeat that. They ain't got nothing to do with me. I don't know nothing about Yellow Beezy's house. She know about it. Tell her where the spot's at. Since she knows so much, I don't know nothing about that.
You just said Diddy did what at Yellow Beezy's house?
I told her that he telling people to kill me. I was staring at him.
You know that house is a trap house.
Is it? It's because it's not a house.
Why were you there?
Because I live in the same place.
Well, look, let me just put a pin in this for just now, because I think a lot of things are getting brought up.
What about Adrian trying to save Anthony Galloway when he was a fucking pimp to her and me? What about that? She don't want to. No, we're not gonna lie. We're gonna tell the truth. We're gonna tell the truth. We're gonna tell the truth. She wanna lie. She wanna cover herself because she got scared yesterday. Even me and her, we talk every day. And she already
get scared.
Because she knew how old I was, and she used me as blackmail to get a fucking apartment that didn't get paid up for 6 months. She got scared because her and Anthony came up with this idea. They got on. He became a model. She started going to Miami. She started being a main girl freak off. Her and Superhead were into it. I remember all this stuff.
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys can hear me. I'm hoping you guys can hear me. I'm going to put a pin in this just now. We're kind of touching on topics and areas where...
Explaining me. I got her recorded a minute in. I got recorded. See, everybody playing chess, think I'm playing checkers. I got her recorded. I recorded our conversations. So she can discredit me all she wants. She's recorded. Well, girl, I know, but what's going to tell the people? The people don't need to know this. The people don't need to know this. The people don't need to know this. We're just going to put this narrative. She did this, not me. I told her don't talk about me.
Well, I'm not upset. I want to get clear.
I got upset at Adria because she already taken me.
Has been drugged into this.
And I didn't tell her to get on there. I told her that in confidence. I said, I don't know Jaguar. She didn't know who I was. They was just telling a story. I just told, and she got on there and let's talk about this. And but she's high in the car. I didn't tell her to do that. I was on there. I really started scratching like, I don't want to talk about it. This supposed to be the sign to leave me alone. I don't want to talk about it. She kept talking. Okay, now she's talking and we on live. And I did say that. So I would say that I said the things that I've said. And I said the things that I've said, and I can admit that I said it, but it was not for her to use my story or not for her every conversation we have to get on live or get on somebody's podcast and tell people.
Now, I hope that you peeped just how flustered yet coherent Lamesha got when she realized that the jig is almost up. And also, notice how she admits that her and Adria had a secret code, which is like the ear scratch, that they use to communicate with each other when they're making these videos. Alright, so while all of this is going on, people start to realize that Lionel B was basically pimping these chicks out, and he starts hemorrhaging viewers.
But guys, let's jump right on into it. So I see that the video I posted yesterday about Diddy's victims are causing Lionel B to lose subscribers was a hit. So we're going to jump right on in and discuss these comments as well. So the first comment is from I Ain't Going Nowhere. And they said, something about that dude never really sat well with me. It was a matter of time before he showed his true colors, shaking my head. I ain't going nowhere. You are absolutely right. I felt the same way when I first ran across Lionel B here recently, and something just ain't sitting right. And dang it all, if he ain't showed them true colors, don't make no sense. Out here getting mad at your supporters about a video you decided to drop. But he'll soon realize that he need them supporters, because without the supporters, any of this YouTube stuff or being a podcaster ain't gonna be possible. Okay, the next comment comes from This Life Is, and she said, some content creators seem to have forgotten where they come from. They need a huge reality check. Absolutely, Life Is, they really do. They get right up on that high horse and totally forget where they came from, forgetting all about day one, how you had to build this platform up to get where you at, and to turn on the ones who made it all possible. That's just silly. Lionel B is a silly rabbit. Okay, the next comment is from Droughton Loyalty. I hope I'm saying that right, love. And she said, facts, unsubscribe quick from him, not doing his proper research, letting that garbage fly, especially with Adria, and then Misha, shaking my head. Right, Droughton Loyalty? And then got the nerve, what gets me is you getting mad at your subscribers and people in the comments instead of getting mad at Adria and Misha for coming on your show, and you don't even know if what they're saying is true, Lionel B.
Oh please, Lionel B knew that what they were saying wasn't true, but shout out to the Mighty Quinn YouTube channel for reading those comments. Cause I swear, I didn't feel like doing it. Anyhow, now that Lionel B is losing mad subscribers because Lamesha and Adria done messed up the pyramid scheme, Lionel B is over there like a Scooby-Doo villain, and he's like,
and I would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for you meddling kids.
Listen, honestly, Lionel B can't get mad because his plan was foiled. Because this is what happens
when YouTube pimping goes wrong.
And this is also what happens when you make a YouTube video that's based on a pack of lies, and you claim that Lamesha Fuller is Jane Doe, who's the woman who was sitting in Diddy's lap in the studio and rocking a D&G t-shirt, when the real wig door law firm who represents the real Jane Doe has come out and dropped a post that says, a woman has recently come forward claiming to be our client Jane Doe, who asserted claims of gender-motivated violence against Sean Combs, Harv Pierre, and others. She's not the individual we represent in a pending lawsuit. Our client's identity remains confidential. Now, after the wig door law firm came out and emphatically said that Jane Doe is not Lamesha and Lamesha's not Jane Doe, Lionel B decided that he was still going to try to save the sinking ship. Lionel acknowledged that there were mad discrepancies in his original video, but instead of apologizing and saying, look y'all, I cuffed up, he decided to spin the narrative away from himself and put Jaguar Wright on blast. Lionel B said Jaguar was going out of her way to discredit his platform because she's a failing singer who's miserable and psychotic. You can blame Jaguar Wright for a whole lot of things, but I don't think that you could blame Jaguar for this particular mess. And if I was Lionel B, I wouldn't want to get into a pissing contest with Jaguar Wright, because Jaguar Wright is special. I mean, this chick right here gave birth to a robot. Yo, did y'all see Jaguar Wright's son on Tasha K? I mean, that dude is R2-D2 for real. And even though he was over there glitching, you can tell that his IQ is off the hook. And if his IQ is off the hook, then you know his mama's over there calculating stuff like 10 steps before you can even think about it. But I digress. Alright, so after the law firm confirmed that Lamesha and them was out here lying, a whole lot of YouTubers who originally supported her on their platforms jumped in their cars, did a U-turn, and tried to back out of the situation.
So, I don't believe these two. I'll say it. I'll say it, Kim. I'm worried. I don't believe the full story is true. Now, they may have their own story that's now changed due to whatever sake, but this is troubling to me. This is worrisome to me. There's too much confusion. I don't want to encourage anymore. I don't want to help it. I don't want to get in there until we can get more definitive proof. To me, I'm going to tap out of these two topics because I don't think it's helping matters. And I'm not saying that to be mean or hateful to them. If you want to go watch them on other channels, you go do you. But we're not going to encourage it any further here on Popcorn Planet because I feel this could do a massive disservice to the case itself, to the other victims. And I'm sorry, I'm going to bet on Cassie's law firm and assume they've done their due diligence to assume who the person behind the blurred photo is. Maybe she was a different girl in a different D&G shirt, but she said it was her in that photo. She said it was her in the sushi photo too. That's too many for me. I'm tapping out. Best of luck, Misha, Adria. I wish you well as you go get your residual deals elsewhere. It's not going to happen on this channel. But with that said, Natania, welcome to the show. So good to see you. As you're reacting to all this drama, what do you think? Does any of this surprise you?
Unfortunately, as per my follow-up live I did after God, I consulted with God and he told me that there were lies going on. It just proves that, I'm not one that wants to be like, hey, told you I was right, but it just proves that I was correct. While I did get a lot of support for that, I got a lot of backlash as well. Oh, why would you try to put yourself above those girls? You're not the only victim. Like, I had people bashing me. And look, because the spirit of discernment is something so infinite that you have to listen with your spirit and your internal, your heart and your soul, and not your ears. That's how you can feel and muddle through the muck and the mire. People didn't want it. They wanted sensationalism. And that is why God moved me to come forward and say, listen, while I believe they were victims of something and experienced some sort of traumatic experiences, I have to stand on the fact that God has dealt with me and told me they are lying. They turned on me because of that video. They went and joined Lionel B and tried to drag me. They even said they knew me from Diddy parts while I was suing him. Why would he pay if I was in his lair participating in the chicanery? Why? Why would he pay? There was no, I got the flash drive, I have the this back then. It's nonsense. And it's what I said. They create a circus-like environment so that when there is time for court, there is so much craziness ensuing, people don't know what to believe. It is not simply for the purposes of swaying public opinion. It is for swaying the jurors and their ability to make a sound decision in a court of law. I caution people against this. I went through it 20-something years ago. Hopefully this will give integrity to a lot, or allow a lot of content creators to invoke their own integrity and to stop with the craziness.
Which brings us all the way back full circle to Natania Reuben. Can somebody please tell me how we went from Lionel B, Lamesha, and Adria English doing a mini Diddy pyramid scheme to all of a sudden now Lionel B is trying to kill you? Please, can somebody tell me how we went from 0 to 60 in less than 3 seconds? Now, after Natania said that Lionel was trying to delete her from this earth, Lionel dropped a new video and he said, quote, "We also got another deranged woman who was unfortunately shot by Diddy, and my heart goes out to all the victims of Diddy. Now she's alleging that the reason she asked for $5,000 to interview with me is because I offered to fly her out to Florida to do an in-person interview, and she thought I was gonna unalive her when she got here and that I was hired by Diddy. Stop it and get some help, lady. Stop the cap and stop the fake praying on your show, all the while you're cursing out people's mothers on your platform. Stop the cap. I offered to have her on my show so she could tell her story on a large platform in person and not a virtual interview, because I personally feel it's a better vibe when you're in the same room, and I thought it would be dope to switch up the format. I'm not being paid by Diddy or Jay-Z to do any type of content. YouTube pays me. That's where I make my funds. People are absolutely crazy to think that I came on YouTube because I was paid by Jay-Z or Diddy. I've been doing numbers and had a huge following way before this Diddy mess even came up on my radar." End quote. Listen, all I'ma say is this. Lionel B needs to recognize that what goes up can always come down, and the viewers are not stupid. Instead of trying to run game and be a digital pimp for Adria and Lamesha, he needs to gracefully bow out of the threesome and get back to doing what he does best. And as for Natania, she needs to be careful, because if she keeps saying things like Lionel B is out here trying to murk her, which is not supported by not 1 ounce of proof, she's gonna go from being part of the solution to being part of the problem. Because you can't bless somebody out of the right side of your mouth and curse the same person out of the left side of your mouth at the same time. I mean, real talk. I'm just over here shaking my head. Right side of the mouth?
Lionel, brother, I had so much respect for you and your woman. And I still do.
Left side of the mouth.
It was a setup. Attempted murder. Sound like a RICO to me.
Alright, that's it. I'm done. Cause these YouTubers are off the hook. Listen, let me know what you think about this episode of
When YouTube pimping goes wrong.
Alright, y'all know I had to do it though. Anyhow, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel and share this video with your friends. Hey yo, thanks for tuning into The Source, your source for celebrity news. Peace.